Hello and welcome to the Star Stories podcast. And today we've got a special summer event episode. I'm joined by Rachel Skinner of Rachel Skinner Millinery. Welcome, Rachel.
Hello, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me.
So we're going to be running through some of the rules, some of the dress codes, but because Rachel is a milliner, she's going to be talking specifically about hats. And excitingly, she's live and direct from her actual studio, her shop. She has got a shop in Lewes and she's online as well on Instagram. I'm going to put all the links to Rachel's shop and her hats in the show notes below. And I know that this kind of thing can put people into a bit of a spin. It's an exciting thing to go to a summer event. It's amazing to get dressed up, and us British love going to the races and getting dressed up. In fact, a lot of the time, it's the only time people dress up. I don't bother the rest of the time, but really go for it and have a lot of fun doing it. But I know that people are like, what do I wear? How do I get it right? What hat goes with this dress? What should I wear to certain events? I know that people don't know where to start. So I've got some tips about the processes, of what you should do, where you should get inspiration and that kind of thing. But first of all, I'd love to hand you over to Rachel for a minute to talk a bit about her background. She was on the podcast already last year, so this is her second time back on the Style Stories podcast. If you could just give us a bit of a potted history about you and your beautiful shop and your work as a milliner.
Okie dokes. Yes. So I've been a milliner a very long time. I've actually been making hats all my life since I left college. So I studied fashion and specialized in millinery. I was totally inspired by my millinery teacher. She was the person that got me enthusiastic and introduced me to the making of hats. And then she also, after college, she introduced me to the Queen's milliner. And I was lucky enough to do an apprenticeship with him, Frederick Fox. So that was a 3-year apprenticeship where I learned the best ways, all the traditional techniques of making hats. And I was taught by ladies that had worked for Freddie for like 40 years or something. So they were incredible craftswomen. And then after that, I went to work for Stephen Jones because I wanted that contrast of the traditional learning and then being more contemporary. And Stephen is one of the leading milliners today. To go and work for him was so eye-opening because he uses all these new materials all the time. He's really pushing boundaries in his work. So exciting. And he's doing the best work for all the Paris designers. And I mean, it was long, long hours working through the night all the time, but what a fantastic experience. So when I gained all of this many years of experience, I decided that I was going to set up my own business and started in a place called Cockpit Workshops, which is still in London today in Holborn. I was there for 5 years and started out making hats for friends and family. Then that progressed into doing some theatrical work for West End shows. I did a John Cleese film. And then Stephen also asked me to make some hats for Catherine Hamnett's show because he was too busy to take it on. And then after 5 years there, I'd also started doing London Fashion Week. So I was designing collections, I was doing wholesale and trying to get into stores because I thought that's going to build my name up. It doesn't happen overnight. It took many years of doing the static stand at London Fashion Week before people really took notice of you. I think a lot of the big stores like Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, and the American stores, Barney's, Saks, Fifth Avenue, they want to know that you're not going to disappear. So they need to know that you're a serious brand that's going to stick around and have longevity. So eventually I got into lots of the stores and then I progressed on to doing Paris Fashion Week, similar kind of thing, but a lot more of the buyers were coming to Paris. So then I was able to sell more worldwide to Japan and in Europe, all over the place. Then I decided what's my next steps? What do I want to do next? So I decided to open a shop in Primrose Hill, and it was tucked around the back, little side street. But I was there, I think, for about 8 years in the end. So I wanted to do more bespoke work, working directly for the customer. And then I actually decided I got burnt out because I was working 7 days a week. You kind of have to in the fashion business, and I was doing just so much work. And then I met my husband and we were trying to get pregnant and I wasn't. So I decided to close the door on my business, which was so drastic. And there's still a part of me that thinks, oh my God, did I lose my mind? What was I doing? And I sold everything off. I sold all my hat blocks, all my materials.
Mm.
Really didn't think I was going to go back to it. Anyway, I was a mum for 8. I had 8 years out, had my children, and then I really missed it. I tried lots of other creative courses and different directions, working in different disciplines. But it was hats, it was millinery. Do you know what? I really missed it, and it just nothing fired me up and gave me that passion like millinery does. So then we decided to move out of London, and I moved down here to Lewes. And my very good friend Sarah Lomax was living here. I'd met Sarah doing my apprenticeship at Frederick Fox, so I'd known her a long time. She was still making hats, but wasn't working at the time. So we decided it was a good time to get together and we set up the business Lomax and Skinner.
Yeah.
I think that was in 2013. And so we were collaborating together, designing, making, had this wonderful business that we've still got today. But now Sarah, she's doing a lot more teaching. When COVID hit, we were both sort of stuck at home thinking, God, what are we going to do? Will the wedding market ever come back? Will people
Mm.
up ever again? We really didn't know. So Sarah had all these teaching opportunities. And I was still sort of slowly making the hats, the bespoke, keeping the business going. And then a year ago, I thought, you know what? I'd like a little shop again. I want to be able to reach more people. I want more people to get to know about me. So that's when I opened this little store in Lewes. Excuse me. But anyway, that's here I am today.
Gorgeous. What an amazing story. Wow. And the Primrose Hill, I'm not sure if you shared that last time. I knew you did have a shop. I didn't know that it was there for 8 years as well, and that you'd given up then for 8 years
Yeah,
following that as well. But that's life isn't linear, is it? I mean, life,
you just don't know.
you have to roll with the punches. And, I know that in an ideal world, you could have carried that shop on, but you don't know what's coming, do you? And you don't know how you're going to feel at the time.
It was so demanding. I just feel, I mean, I wasn't getting pregnant. And I was sort of getting on for late 30s. So it was a now or never time. You only get one chance at that, don't you? You can't put it on hold for another few years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you just, you do what you think is the right thing at the time. But talking about the hats and your lovely shop, because I went to Lewes recently. I've actually got some friends in Lewes, and I'm coming to your shop on the 10th of June. I'm coming to visit because we are going to Royal Ascot, aren't we, Rach?
We are. We don't know what we're wearing yet, do we, Lisa?
No. So I've actually researched extensively for this podcast because I don't know what to wear myself, which is ironic.
Yeah.
But I would like some guidance today on the podcast about hats. So because I've been literally looking for a dress for myself as well, and I've got a few clients that are going to some events, I've been doing a lot of research, and obviously the hat side of it isn't my specialism. So I was just wondering because hats are classic, they're a classic thing, but if there are some current trends that you're seeing, things that people are going for more, what's the most popular hat? And would you pair, like, say, for example, those little pillbox hats with a veil, right, which I think are super cute. Can you wear that with any kind of dress, or do you just, or, are there certain sort of rules?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought I would go through popping some hats on and kind of running through the different styles and what outfits they would look nice with what kind of silhouettes. But we could start with the halo, the one I'm wearing now. This has become quite popular. I mean, it's been around for about the last 10 years, but it's really become more in the limelight 3 or 4 years ago. So this is called a halo. It crowns the head. It's super light. and so easy to wear. You don't even know you've got it on. You've got nothing shielding your face, nothing getting in the way. It stays on with an elastic around the back that goes underneath your hair, so you don't see the elastic. And this can be embellished with anything. So if you have a bespoke hat made, you start with the base shape of hat, whatever that is. And then it's the trimming, what you put onto the hat can be completely different and completely change the whole look of the hat. So the halo shape is very fashionable still.
Yeah.
And it will also suit the royal enclosure, because they have the rule that you have to have the crown of the head covered. It has to be 4 inches or 10 centimeters wide. So this totally fits the bill for that.
So I would describe that as a sort of like a, you're saying halo, but it's like a big headband kind of. It's like the headband. And I think that would look great with long hair, because I know a lot of people, hair extensions are really popular now. Lots of people have got hair extensions, long hair. And I think that would look really cool, that sort of big halo hat with some cascading kind of hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, do you wear hair up or down with hats? I think it depends on the shape of the hat, because sometimes it does look better with hair down. The majority of the time, this is why I've just put mine back today, because it neatens the silhouette if you put it back. But
Yes.
with smaller hats, I think it's always nice to have hair up quite high if you're wearing the hat quite forward on the head. But yeah, this would look lovely with longer hair. You can, the height of the halo, you can have quite high ones. It can be flatter. There's so many different shapes and varieties of it.
And obviously you do bespoke, so you could add, this is just, what I'm like, things just pop into my head. But, for example, like pearls are something that's important to me. We had lots of pearls at our wedding, and, we had them through the flowers, all that kind of thing. So if you've got something that's special to you, you could have it put on the
Absolutely.
hat.
That's the beauty of a bespoke piece, is that it's really unique to you. No one else is going to have a hat the same, because you can have whatever you want on it.
So that's the halo. And then what else have you got that's popular?
So, and the halo, I think it goes lovely with any dresses. I think it's more of a sort of for a dress. You can wear it with a trouser suit as well, but
Yeah.
I would go mainly with a nice dress with
I
that.
think that would go with loads of things, actually, the halo. I think that's a good option.
So the next one is more of the beret shape, and I
Mm.
thought this would go really nicely with a cream suit. It could be a trouser suit, but it also could be a beautifully tailored structured dress, because Ascot isn't about the latest trends. It's more about polished chic, being classic and timeless. So a lot of people, they do just wear cream, all cream completely, or white, or one of the pastel tones.
Very elegant.
Very, very elegant, isn't it? So this is like a snakeskin print on the straw with the natural pheasant feathers that I've cut. And that suits all sorts of different face shapes as well. It's good for an oval shaped face. If you've got a longer face, it's good to add a bit of width to your hat. You wouldn't want to add more height, because that would make everything look longer. So this is quite good. You can still get away with this shape if you've got a longer face, but add some width to it.
And that's quite cool as well, because it's got the snakeskin print. And I've seen a really nice cream trouser suit actually in me. And I think for anyone listening, you can watch this on YouTube to see the hats. But also, I'm going to take a picture, we'll get pictures of all of these hats that Rachel was mentioning, and put them into the blog as well. So you can actually see what Rachel's talking about. You can click and buy from there as well.
So I'm going to show you some more beret shapes that would still go with your cream if you were wearing all cream, whether it's a suit or trousers or a structured dress. So this would give you a beautiful pop of colour. It's got the cream in it. So you could be wearing a complete block cream colour, might have the red hat, you might have red shoes or a little red bag that keep everything else cream.
That's gorgeous. And what is the name of that kind of hat?
Well, I just call it a beret because
It's a beret style.
it's a bit, yeah, yeah. Or I mean, it's kind of pillboxy, but the pillbox goes more on the back of the head, which I'm gonna show you as well. Textures are very much in at the moment as well. So this has got the veiling laid over the straw, and then you've got the textures of the feathers. The feathers have been made into flowers.
I love that hat. That is gorgeous. The red with the cream and the veiling is just beautiful. Love it.
Red suits you, Lise. So this could be your little ascot number with this.
Yes, I've got to get my dress sorted, and then I'll be there for the hat.
So this again is the same base shape, but you can see it's like candy floss, green candy floss. So it's ascot. So obviously you see everything there, very flamboyant. So this has got a lot of height. This would be good for somebody quite petite to give them a bit of height, but it's really light and yeah, easy to.
Yeah, so this is sort of green with organza, and this is definitely more of a dramatic option. So if you want to make a real statement, and it's not the time to dress down, like we said at the beginning, it's the time to just go for it and have some fun, isn't it?
Yeah, but it would still tone beautifully with a cream outfit.
Yeah, a nice pop of colour.
Nice colour. Another beret, but everybody loves a bit of monochrome. So if you're wearing black and white, which way? That way.
Gorgeous. So this is another beret with a black rose with some white feathers coming down. That's stunning.
So I think a white outfit with this.
Yeah, would be really beautiful. I'm going to go into my recommendations in a minute for where to get outfits, but that is stunning, that hat, because that's a statement, but it's not sort of big, because I'm not sure if I'd like to wear a big hat. Do you know what I mean? I quite like a smaller hat, but I still want to make a statement.
I think it's really important to feel comfortable. Hat's got to be a really good fit and comfortable on the head. I mean, if you're going to Ascot, you're going to be there for 8 hours, wearing your hat. You can't take it off. So I just think when I see people with these enormous monstrosities, I think, what are they all day?
Yeah.
So shoes, I think, get a really good comfortable pair of shoes as well, because they've got to last, haven't they? There's nothing like sore feet.
Definitely.
Pillbox style. So back of the head. So this style hat, I think, looks really nice. Got a lovely bow on the back.
So this is this like an older style hat? Because for me, I feel like the pillbox has been around. Yeah.
So from the 60s.
Yeah.
It's from that classic era, from that style.
Beautiful.
Kate Middleton, whatever she wears, people will want her style. So whenever she's worn a hat, I will get a phone call. The next few phone calls will be, I want the style that Kate Middleton's worn. So I have to do a variation of it. So she's made the pillbox trendy again. I think it's really chic. You can wear it with dresses. You could wear it with a pencil skirt. Yeah, it's pretty.
It would be lovely with a vintage dress, if you went the whole hog and did, went vintage. I think that could look so amazing. So unique.
If you had a longer face shape, so this is another pillbox, but it's a slightly different style. We've added flowers and veiling. So we've added width. So if you've got a longer face, just get the width again, and that's more flattering.
What if you've got a really big face? What would you say? Like some people have. I've got actually quite a big head. A lot of hats don't fit my giant head. It's true.
Oh, the size, you mean the circumference?
I've got big, yes.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of my customers they've either got tiny heads or a bit larger. Yeah. So you may have to have a hat made to fit you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not. It's just, when I'm trying on kind of straw hats and things like that, they never seem to fit my head.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
Sometimes you can get them stretched. So you could take them to a milliner and say, can you stretch it?
Right.
Made and things. Yeah. This is another lovely little pillbox that looks like the halo from the front.
Yeah.
But then It's cut out at the back. It's a more modern.
Oh, I love that.
So that's a really lovely, neat little style to go with a
Yeah,
little suit or something. Little Chanel suit even would look gorgeous with.
that would be amazing. I'm so excited to go to Royal Ascot. I've never been in my life, so this is literally going to be my first time. People watching obsessively.
Oh my God, aren't we just? Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So moving on to a more structured hat. This is quite a big brim. Can you
Now
see?
that would look great with a trouser suit or a jumpsuit. That would be very Bianca Jagger kind of, 70s.
That's what I was going to say. Back to the cream suit again, or maybe a darker, toning suit. But yeah, a trouser suit. You wouldn't wear this with a pretty dress. You wouldn't wear it with a floral. It has to be a plain structured.
That's very, very flattering, actually. That really suits you.
I know, I don't normally go for such a big brim, but yeah, it's the asymmetrical. Something that goes across the face is always really flattering. So that's flattering for a rounder face shape. So that's quite got the hard structured crown.
Mm.
Or if you want to soften it up a little bit, this is still structured, but it's got the round crown.
Yeah,
Much more gentle, with a bit of an upsweep here. So that's
yeah,
quite pretty. That would go with a trouser suit or a dress.
yeah. Really, that would definitely go nicely with a dress as well, like a fitted silhouette kind of dress. Or I really like the veil because I think a veil on a hat is flattering on everyone.
Yeah, they add a bit of mystery, don't they?
Bit of mystery, and you did a pop-up, and I think you did a pop-up last year for the Hat Guild in central London that I came along to, and I think you're doing that again, aren't you?
Do you know what I was, Lisa? It's just been cancelled.
Oh no!
To do with the lease of the shop. So that's such a shame. But we will do it again next year.
Yeah,
Because it was so successful. Yeah, we got let down by the agent. That's the only reason why it didn't go ahead.
right.
I've also got, going back to the cream trouser suit again, that seems to be very popular, is just a simple fedora. I mean, this is a beautiful Panama straw, but it's the fedora kind of oversized trilby shape.
Yeah,
Really nice,
that's really cool.
smart trouser suit.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool to wear to Ascot because everybody goes over the top really flamboyant, and you hardly see anyone in just something so simple like this.
actually, do you know what, Rachel? There's a bit of a, because of Beyonce, there's a bit of a, it doesn't look like a cowboy hat, but it kind of is going towards that.
Nod to that.
There's a big sort of cowboy revival at the moment. Beyonce single-handedly brought that back, but everyone's sort of wearing that Western vibe kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I quite like that hat. I think that's really nice. That's something fresh and different.
I've also got a big cowboy hat in a beautiful cream straw, so that could be good for you, Lisa.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I like the hat behind you that's black with like a yellow bow.
This one?
The one above with the yellow bow,
Yes.
that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So that's that similar cowboy vibe. It's got the cowboy crown.
Yes.
So you'll have to try that on when you come.
Yeah, I will. I've looked forward to that, definitely.
So no Ascot is complete without flowers and floral dresses and beautiful chiffon dresses. So this has got the veiling that you like.
That's lovely.
This has actually got a gold veiling. I want to have a pair of gold shoes to tie that in.
In love with that hat.
This blush is kind of champagne nude blush colour. That's very in at the moment. And it's a really good colour choice for a hat because you can kind of wear it with anything. It goes with so many different colours.
It's almost like a neutral, and you've got peonies on the top.
Yeah, so pretty. But, it would look gorgeous with a chiffon dress with lots of flowers on. Wouldn't it be really pretty?
Yeah, I think that's something to mention actually is the vibe of a hat and the vibe of a dress. So, the fedora, the vibe, that would be great with, a cream suit, like you said, maybe some platform shoes. And then this hat that you've got on now is so feminine. So feminine. I can see chiffons and silks and,
Yeah.
nipped in waist and that kind of thing.
Or you could choose a block color dress in this pink. It could be quite a structured dress, nipped in waist, like you said, full skirt. So there's lots of options. You don't have it's not always rigid, only one hat.
No, no. And it's a vibe, but it's also, body shape, what you're comfortable wearing as well on the day. Now, I know a lot of people wear quite, it's very, like you said at the beginning, it's a classic event. It's people go classic. So there's lots of block colours, monochrome, fit and flare dresses. So, that sort of 50s silhouette where it's fitted on the top, then with a big full skirt on the bottom.
Yeah.
People in high heels, all of that, This is gorgeous, this hat.
So keeping with the flower theme, a pretty, one color dress in this sort of blush color, or you could go for one of the stronger tones. But that's just a big statement flower, which are always, you see lots of statement flowers at Ascot. But it's just on the fine hairband. It's really light. It's really easy to wear. It's really pretty.
It's really pretty and light as well. So if you're someone that likes not to feel, too encumbered by your hat or whatever, a nice light version like the halo or this would be really nice. And obviously you can get them dyed to your dress, can't you? Can you dye some hats to match the dress?
Yeah, so you start with dyeing the fabric. So I'll dye the fabric to make the flowers or the base of the hat or the trimmings, the veiling, whatever it is. We can do a dye to match surface. Yeah.
And you can't wear a fascinator. I'm going to go through the rules just because I think people will want to listen to the rules. But before that, I was wondering if you had any boaters, or is this something where I have to come to the shop and have a look, Rachel?
I've got a boater here. Here's one. And the boaters, you can have different depths of crown and different widths of the brim. So
Yeah.
that's quite a nice proportion. You always wear them on an angle. And because they come on the elastic, you can angle it with the trim coming down, or depends what suits the person, you might angle it the other way. So play around with your hats if you're in a store trying them on. I mean, people aren't used to wearing hats and they're kind of afraid of wearing them.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what suits them. But just don't be afraid to play around. And if you do buy a hat, wear it at home for a bit as well before the occasion. So you get used to putting it on in the right position on your head and you get the fit and comfort right. And walk around, get used to wearing it.
Yeah, definitely. Don't just sort of roll it out on the day, but definitely go and try a few options on. I mean, I like the boater because I feel like that's more unusual, a boater. I think it's probably not more, the go-to choice. So I quite like that.
Yeah, but they've been on trend for the last couple of years, and people trim them differently, some with veiling. There's a lot of hats that are all one tone at the moment. That's quite fashionable. So block colours, everything the same colour on the hat. There's a navy one here. This is a kind of bigger boater. It's got a deeper crown.
Lovely.
That's all one colour.
I mean, that's gorgeous. I'm just going to run through a few of the Royal Enclosure dress code rules for the listeners. So headwear is mandatory, obviously. Hats are preferred, but headpieces with a solid base, like you said, of at least 4 inches, 10 centimetres diameter are allowed. Dresses and skirts must be of modest length, so just above the knee or longer. Midriffs must be covered, so you can't get, have your tummy hanging out. No strapless dresses, off the shoulder, one shoulder, Bardot or sheer straps. You can't have any of those. So you can't even have spaghetti straps. I know, you've got to have the straps on your dress have to be a certain width.
I think it's 1 inch or more.
Yeah, so really you can wear trousers and jumpsuits. You can wear that, so that's fine. Jackets and pashminas are allowed. Trouser suits have to be full length though, and matching in colour and material. So that's another rule as well. And jumpsuits are permitted if they are below the knee and meet the strap requirements. So there's just a rundown of the rules. I was just going to talk a bit about the process for finding a dress. So Rachel's shop is in Lewes. So if anyone is near there, I'll be going along there soon to go and try on some hats for Royal Ascot. But obviously she's available online and on Instagram as well. But the process I went through, and this is what I would do with my clients anyway, is to start off on Pinterest or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and search Royal Ascot 2024 or best dressed Royal Ascot, and so many things come up. And I found it, it's for me to find dresses for other people. There's no emotion involved, so I can look at someone and be objective and find them a dress. When I'm finding my own dress, it's actually completely different, and I found it really overwhelming. And I've been searching all the corners of the internet, and what I did was, in the end, was go to Pinterest, and I got the one outfit that I loved, the one that made me gasp, and the one that made me go, oh, she looks amazing. And then I just have gone on to Google Lens. So this guy didn't even say where the dress was from. It was just best dressed, but it didn't say the dress was from here, the hat was from here. So I just put that photograph into Google Lens and then searched Google Lens and hit products on the tab, or you can put it into ChatGPT or Perplexity, and it finds that dress, that exact dress for you, but it finds other options in different price points. So I've kind of almost, and then I went off piste, but that's another story. But I did find the dress. Alas, it was Erdem. It was 2005. I'm not buying that dress, but I am getting a version. I've actually found a Victoria Beckham dress that is the same kind of vibe. It's monochrome, but it's in the sale on Brand Alley.
Fantastic.
So Brand Alley is a really good place to go and look. If you find the dress that you love that makes you gasp first on Pinterest, look in Google Lens to pinpoint where it's from. Then you can look at Brand Alley, you can look at Vinted, you could rent. Actually, Victoria Beckham has got 40% off at the moment across the board of all her dresses on her website. My Teresa's another place, but you could rent a dress. If you find a designer dress that you love, like I love Road Art, and those dresses are about £2,000 a pop, go to her, which is HURR, By Rotation, Huey, which is Hardly Ever Worn It, so it's HEWI, Huey, and you can rent one of these amazing dresses for a fraction of the price. It's a bit of a faff, but if maybe try it on in the shop first, the size, to check that the size is going to work for you, because then you've got to rent it for like a period of 3 or 4 days. Sign of the Times is another one. Sign of the Times you can buy pre-loved. So that's another way to do it, to go vintage or go pre-loved and buy secondhand on Vinted. You can really track down some great dresses. And then I just want to run through the brands that I've spotted in my extensive search. So Hobbs do a lot of the block colour, smart dresses that look great with these hats, all in brilliant colours. Karen Millen is brilliant online, only online as far as I know, has some great event dress options. John Lewis has got a huge array, also does quite a lot of plus size dresses as well. Karen Millen does petite, so does Hobbs, and they both do tall ranges, I think, as well. Rebecca Valance is another one. She does mostly just event dresses. Sassy Holford is another one. I'm going to mention all this in the show notes and on the blog that I'm going to do to accompany this podcast as well. But Sassy Holford makes wedding dresses, but also Mother of the Bride can do bespoke and has lots of really nice summer event dresses. Victoria Beckham, if you like more, they're more relaxed, but I like that. I kind of like that silky, relaxed vibe. Self-portrait is another biggie, I think, for events. Lots of that chunky lace. I find quite a bit of self-portrait a bit blingy. There's always bling somewhere. So, it's fabulous. It's really glamorous, but there's diamantes everywhere. But if you like that, I think self-portrait's a great brand for event dressing. Great silhouettes as well. If I had unlimited budget, it would be Erdem all day long. The florals, the shape. Might remortgage my house and just get myself an Erdem dress. It's a special occasion. It's really, really nice. Again, you can hire those or you can find them on Pre-Loved. Road Art and Simone Rocha. And I'm actually, Rachel, I'm going to hire, and we're going to talk about your hat hire in a second. I'm going to hire a Simone Rocha bag. She's done these egg bags this season. They look like mother of pearl. I mentioned to you, pearl is really something. They've got a little pearl handle, so made out of tiny, tiny pearls. And they've got like diamante. I've just talked about, I don't like diamante, but it's got diamante all over the pearl bag. And to buy this bag is £600. I'm going to rent it for £30.
That is amazing.
Finish off my Royal Ascot outfit and
Wow.
add a bit of quirk to my outfit.
Wow.
There you go. That's my little roundup of what dresses, and I'm going to obviously recommend. But what's the hat hire offer that you have as well?
Well, this is the thing, is that, with these occasion hats, people may only wear it once, whether you're a mother of the bride or groom or it's a race event. You don't want to wear that outfit and hat again. So I decided to launch the hat hire, so people can choose online or from my website, or they can come in the shop and I will give them advice, and you can hire a hat for a week. And yeah, so you you don't have to splash out this enormous amount of money. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
perfect thing. And I was looking at hiring a dress as well for Ascot, but I wasn't sure on the fit. I thought, well, how does that work? Unless you can get to the shop to try it on, you don't know whether it'll fit. So for me, not being in London, it was too much of a risk to take.
Has the dress turned? You have ordered another dress. Has it turned up?
No.
Right. So
So
we don't know yet.
looking at other dresses. So I'm a bit like you, Lisa. In my fantasy world, I want a Zimmermann dress. But yeah, how beautiful are they? But I can't afford
Beautiful.
out of my budget. And I'd also want an Almess dress, because I think aren't those the lovely prints and colours that they do. Yeah, I'd love
Gorgeous.
those, but can't have that. So I found Reshma. Do you know that label? I found
No.
Wolf and Badger, but they've also got their own website. Beautiful prints, because my style is, I'm a bit boho kind of chic. I prefer the relaxed. I just want to live in chiffon, but it's totally impractical.
Float around in chiffon.
That's what I want to do. But I live in my jeans instead. Oh, yeah, and then high street labels. Coast is really good for race wear outfits and occasion wear. And then I was looking at Next. Another stylist suggested to me, it's called Roses and Love. It's a new label that Next is doing, and they're quite pretty, very very florally, but way cheaper than anything else. So they're worth a look at.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think I know Roses and Love and Chi Chi London as well. They're sort of affordable too. But the thing with the rental is, yeah, I guess you've got a risk that it doesn't fit you.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's so important, isn't it? The fit is so important. It's everything. It doesn't matter what size you are, but the fit has to be right, and the color needs to suit you. You have to feel comfortable. There's a lot of elements, isn't there, that need to come together.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just, I've actually ordered a few things now. I've ordered the Victoria Beckham dress,
I think it's the only way to go.
which is lovely. And I've ordered Adriana, I can't think of the last name, that'll be on my blog, a very traditional kind of bright aqua blue dress that's fitted on the top and then with a big skirt. It's very princessy. So I'm not sure if it's my vibe,
Yeah.
but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm trying different vibes, different styles to see how I feel. And then I'm going to do a fashion show for my husband and my sons. I'm going to force them to watch the fashion show
Are
and
they the
give me
right
some
one?
feedback.
I'm a bit worried they're not the right audience.
Wrong crowd.
Wrong.
No, I think it'll be all right. But thank you so much for joining me today, Rachel. That was really interesting. Gorgeous hats.
Should we just do a couple more? We need to
Yeah,
quickly. But, My Fair Lady,
My Fair Lady, lovely.
to go that extravagant, you can actually hire this hat from me. So, and it's very flattering because it's the asymmetrical brim again. I'm
I
sorry.
love that one.
Yeah, I think you need 3 outfits, and you need to do outfit changes for the day.
I'd love to. I'm really going for it.
Just another one. So, not quite so over the top, but it's sophisticated, quite a beautiful teardrop shape. It's navy, bit of the pink. And I also think you can wear navy with black. I think they
Yes.
tone beautifully together.
Yeah, people have a thing about navy and black together, but I think it's chic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So that's,
absolutely love that one. I think that one would suit me actually.
yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the shop, Lisa, and we'll have some fun trying them on.
We'll do, I'll tell you what as well, what we'll do a video in the shop of me trying the different hats on.
Great idea.
I
Yeah.
might have my Victoria Beckham dress by then. So I'll bring it along and we'll put it on Instagram so people listening to the podcast can also see another try-on session to help decide which hats they want for their summer events
Fabulous.
coming up. It's an exciting time. Summer's a joyful time.
It is for me because it's very seasonal, my work. So the spring, summer with all the hat wearing occasions. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to make the most of it. I'm also busy as well doing spring, summer wardrobe. Seasonal, it's seasonal work because everyone's sort of getting ready for the things coming up in the diary and all of that. So brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm looking forward to coming to your shop and doing the video so we can put that on Instagram and everywhere and people can see some more hats. And we'll put the links to the hats on the blog, so the photos of the hats that Rachel shared today, I'll put them on the blog with some of my choices as well for event dresses, mother of the bride, the races, all that kind of thing too. So thanks, Rachel. Thanks for joining me today.
Lisa, lovely to see you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.